Hi everyone.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us on this beautiful day at the Breakwater in Victoria, BC. So whether you are a kinesiologist, personal trainer, exercise specialist, or massage therapist, take a look at your caseload for this week. And I bet you a large portion of your caseload is female.
I know that Tara and I sure do treat a lot of females. And if you've ever suspected that fundamental training you received in school is missing something, you are correct. We really see women's health these days as a very isolated niche of pre and postnatal care.
Now, the reality is that women's health is not a single chapter. It is a lifelong spectrum. So let's think about those stages. We have the orthopedic challenges of the female teenage athlete. I know I see it in my daughters. We have the systemic shifts of menopause. Ooh, I'm going into that soon.
Yep. Been there, done that.
And we see the complex mobility needs of our elderly female clients.
And if you felt like those clinical guidelines don't quite fit your clients, you are right. For decades, women's health has been systematically underfunded, understudied, and quite frankly ignored by the medical body of research.
What is so interesting is that until the early 1990s, women of childbearing age were excluded from the research. In fact, they said that the female hormones were too messy to analyze. They were a confounding variable that they didn't want to include. Isn't that mind-blowing? So instead what they did was they defaulted to just use men in the research and then said, well, women are small men.
That's crazy stuff, isn't it? And because of this massive research gap, we are missing information with our clinical guidelines, which is why we dove deeply into the research for this past year, and we found some good stuff for you. So in our 16-hour course, Optimizing Women's Health from Puberty to Post-Menopause, we cover all kinds of information that is evidence-based, and this will help you really optimize the care of your female clients.
So before we jump into this course, let's debunk some of these myths from science. So take a look at the next video where we debunk 3 myths from science regarding women's health.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what is myth number 1 that we're going to debunk? Myth number 1 is that bone health is an old age women's disease and that you don't need to start managing it until your 60s or 70s. That is absolutely not true. In fact, bone health is made, won, or lost in our youth. Did you know that 90% of our peak bone mass is built and developed by the age 18? So that means that the teenage athlete or the teenage female in general, if they're having hormonal disruptions or if they're having poor fuel intake, all of this could derail our bone health.
If your female client misses that critical window for peak bone health, they really are playing catch up for the rest of their lives. So in this course, we break down those 4 pillars that are the foundation for musculoskeletal development. And you can help your client master that information and have physical resilience for life.
What's myth number 2? Myth number 2 is that menopause is just a brief window of hot flashes, and when it's over, poof, the whole system resets. I wish. I'm about to go into menopause. I wish this myth was true. In fact, the transition through perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause represents permanent structural and metabolic shifts.
And Tara, menopause, been there, done that. Right. That drop in estrogen permanently alters the soft tissue compliance, the tendon health, and muscle remodeling. In fact, if you use the same exercise protocols and soft tissue techniques on your 30-year-old client as you do your postmenopausal client, you will not get the same results.
So what's myth number 3? Myth number 3 is that cardiorespiratory decline is inevitable for aging females, and that gentle, low-intensity exercise is the safest approach.
It's not the safest approach, surprisingly, because women's cardiovascular health was understudied for so long. Many practitioners today don't even realize that cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in women globally. So if we just do light exercise and simple walking, it's not enough to combat a changing cardiovascular system. Women need targeted cardiorespiratory training, and they need progressive resistant exercise. So in this course, we walk you through what the principles are with the latest research.
So this course moves past those generic protocols to give you evidence-based framework for helping your clients, your female clients of all ages. So in this 16-hour course, we're going to cover things all the way from puberty to pregnancy to perimenopause, menopause, post-menopause. I'm going to deep dive into things like pelvic health and how to help the female athlete. What are the exercise guidelines for when you're pregnant or post-pregnancy? And how can we best help our elderly, frail female clients with falls prevention?
And we do see a lot of those, don't we, Tara?
Oh, yes.
And because you are movement and manual clinicians, we know that you learn best by seeing concepts in action. So this is the fun part. We have spent a lot of time filming videos in outdoor settings to teach you cueing and progression techniques so that you can pass those on to your clients in this course.
So your clients don't outgrow the need for specialized care and treatment as they age through the years. They need evidence-based treatment and protocols.
Women are not small men. No, no, no. We hope you enjoy this course as much as we've enjoyed putting it together.
It was a lot of fun.